In 2008, while Lehman Brothers collapsed and 13 million Americans lost their homes, 4 hedge funds made a combined profit of $15 billion. They weren't lucky. They knew something was breaking, and they bet on the collapse. Here's the uncomfortable part. That's not a scandal. That's the design. When systems fail, money doesn't disappear. It moves. And if you understand where it goes, you understand something most people never see about how power actually works. Let's rewind. Every economic system, whether it's housing markets, currencies, or entire countries, operates on a kind of collective belief. We believe the dollar has value. We believe our pension funds are safe. We believe the government can pay its debts. And as long as everyone believes, the system holds. But belief is fragile, and the moment it cracks, there's a window, a brief, chaotic window where assets get repriced, where panic creates bargains, where the informed can position themselves on the other side of everyone else's fear. Take the 2008 crisis. The average American saw their net worth drop by nearly 40%. Meanwhile, investors like John Paulson bought credit default swaps, essentially insurance against mortgage bonds they didn't even own. When the bonds failed, those swaps paid out massively. Paulson personally made $4 billion in a single year. He didn't cause the crisis, but he understood the math everyone else ignored. Subprime mortgages bundled into AAA-rated securities, leverage ratios at 30-to-1, a housing market built on loans people couldn't repay. He saw the system was hollow, and he bet against it. This pattern repeats. During the COVID crash in March 2020, billionaire wealth dropped 17% in 2 weeks. By the end of the year, it was up 39%. They bought the dip, while unemployment hit 14%. During currency collapses, international investors buy devalued assets for pennies. During sovereign debt crises, vulture funds purchase distressed bonds and sue governments for full repayment. Argentina lost a case in 2016 and paid a fund 15 times what they'd paid for the debt. The mechanism is simple. Crisis creates distress. Distress creates sellers. Sellers with no leverage accept bad prices. Buyers with cash and patience buy low. Then they wait for the system to stabilize, because it always does. Central banks intervene. Governments bail out institutions. The belief gets restored, and asset prices recover. But they recover into different hands. Here's the tension. Is this predatory or rational? The investors would argue they provided liquidity when no one else would. They took risk when others panicked. They're not villains, they're realists. But there's a deeper asymmetry. To profit from failure, you need 3 things: information, capital, and the ability to wait. Most people have none of those during a crisis. They're losing jobs, draining savings, trying to survive. They can't buy the dip. They are the dip. So systems fail and wealth consolidates, not because of conspiracy, but because of position. The people furthest from the consequences of collapse are often closest to its rewards. And that's the part no one talks about. We focus on preventing the next crash, more regulation, better oversight, stress tests. But we never ask the other question. If systems are designed to be rescued, and rescues restore asset values, and only some people can afford to hold through the chaos, then who is the system really protecting? In 1933, during the Great Depression, Joseph Kennedy, father of the future president, reportedly said, "In a bear market, all stocks go down, and in a crash, only the rich can afford to buy." He became one of the wealthiest men in America. 90 years later, the math hasn't changed, just the speed. So here's what we're left with. Economic systems will fail again. They always do. And when they do, someone will win. The question isn't whether that's fair. The question is whether it's fixable, or whether the instability itself has become the opportunity. And if you already know the answer, you might be on the winning side.